Hey, I'm Jay Holland. This is Guided by Faith, and we are back midweek as we continue to talk about strategies for having a mission trip mindset in our own homes and our own houses. Now, I hope you get to go on an away mission trip this summer, but even if you don't, it's really cool because God has dropped you into a place where people need Jesus, and you can actually be a more effective missionary in your own community, in your own environment, with your own friends, than you can on the other side of the world where you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, the food makes your belly upset. So there's a lot of advantages if you can have that as you are going make disciples mindset that Jesus talks about in Matthew 28, 18 through 20. In Romans 12:13, the Apostle Paul says, share with the Lord's people who are in need and practice hospitality. And so I want to talk about that second part of that, practice hospitality. There's a couple different places in the New Testament that encourage us as believers that we are supposed to practice hospitality. And I want to talk about how you can use hospitality in a missional way. So, hanging out with friends is one of the very best parts of summer. It's one of the very best parts of winter and fall and spring. But what if your hangouts had a bigger purpose than just killing time together? What if your home and wherever you gather became a place where people feel loved, where they feel seen, and even pointed to Jesus? You don't have to be the perfect host. You don't have to give a sermon. Just think about this, though. When you invite people into your space intentionally, you're creating opportunities for real connection. Whether it's a movie night or a board game session, making pizza together, or engaging in a Bible study, these kind of moments can lead to deeper conversations, encouragements, and showing the love of Christ in action. One of the things that my family has really worked hard to do is we've worked to have at least 2 or 3 times a week where we all gather around the dinner table. And when we do, many times our kids are more than welcome to invite their friends. We always try to make leftover food. We try to have them around the table because we've realized something. There's a lot of our kids' friends that don't have a stable mom and dad, that don't have anybody in their life that's a family of faith member, and that don't eat dinner together. And so we really have started to look at just having meals together around the table as kind of our little missional experience. And when they come, we pray together. We don't not pray just because somebody new is in our house. And around the table, we ask questions like, what were your highs and lows for the week? What have you been learning? And I don't care if it's in school or not, just what have you been learning? And we even have one, what have you failed at? So that we kind of get to laugh at each other and normalize the fact that we make mistakes and it's not a big deal. But the big thing that happens is relational connection. And we end up I don't come with a Bible study to dinner, but it's neat how the Lord will just open up conversations if we go into it with the mindset to do it. And so I just want to encourage a few different ways. And this is one really, it'd be great if you talk to your mom and dad and say, hey, I want to have my friends over and I want to have them over with a purpose to build bridges, to help point them to Jesus. But it's not always going to be a Bible study thing. But, mom and dad, can you help with providing food? Can you help with, we can have dinner together so that they get to sit around a table together. You can offer hospitality by just thinking ahead in these ways. Your home, your table becomes the hangout spot where people get to feel God's love. And being intentional doesn't mean being weird. It just means looking for the moments to encourage one another, looking for those moments. Some people feel alone. They feel unsafe. And so you having the mindset that, I'm going to be whatever the Lord needs to the people in my house. I'm going to help them feel welcome. I'm going to help them feel wanted. I'm going to make them know that I was thinking about them before I came. These are awesome ways to be missional. Another great strategy is instead of just having one friend over, if you've got a few friends who are believers, who are legitimately trying to follow Jesus, aim to have them over and then invite a friend or two that is far from God. Because there should be a difference in the way that believers interact, in the way that believers treat each other. So talk to your other friends and say, hey, I want to spend time with, my friend Bo, and Bo feels like he's far from God. So as we're together, can we just have that mentality that we're going to not preach at Bo, not bump him over the head with the Bible, but we're going to make sure that he sees there is something different about the way we talk, what we think about, what we love, and how we treat each other. So you want to invite God into your hangout moments through prayer and through purpose. And honestly, you might be surprised at how he moves. This is something that I would love to see you develop for a lifetime habit. One of the things that makes me sad is that as time goes on, I feel like our houses get bigger and bigger with more square footage, and we invite less and less people into our houses. That's mostly adults' fault. That's really not your fault. You didn't build the house, and you probably would have friends over more and more. But I would encourage you to have conversations with your parents, especially if they're believers, and say, hey, I want my house to be missional this summer. Can we work to have friends over and just kind of have a prayerful mindset that, maybe the Lord will give us a gospel conversation. So we've talked about prayer walking so far. We're talking about hosting people in your house for a missional purpose. And tomorrow we're going to talk about serving for fun and profit. And yes, serving can be fun and serving should be profitable. So come back tomorrow and I'll tell you all about that.